There. We will call the November meeting to order, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, indivisible. Just of note, our county administrator is out of state, and he is joining us online today for any comments that he may have on the agenda. Are there any disclosures of interest? Seeing none, previous board meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and second, we approve the minutes as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Review the agenda, and just to make note that under the consent agenda, there was a correction in the clerical updates for the abatement list that was posted, I think, yesterday after they had found that, so that's updated. Is there anything else to the agenda?
There are no changes, Chair.
All right, thank you, Scott. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Second, we approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Now the consent agenda with that correction. There are two items under there, the abatements and then the final contract payment for CASA 24 grading near Cannon Falls.
Move the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Reports from Department. Sheriff's Office.
Morning.
Morning.
How are we doing?
Good.
Good. Well, today I come before you as the Emergency Services Captain representing public safety throughout Goodhue County. Tomorrow, as you may or may not know, is GIS Day. GIS Day was an event that first took place in 1999, recognizing the work of our GIS teams and what GIS data does for us on a day-to-day basis. Come on up here, GIS team. To my right here, flanking my right, is your Goodhue County GIS team. It's important that we recognize these folks today, and I'll do that by just reading this. So I'm sure Administrator Arneson there can follow along with us. So as part of GIS Day, I want to take a moment to recognize and highlight the work of Goodhue County's Geographic Information Systems (GIS) team that play a critical role in supporting public safety across our county. Our GIS team provides far more than maps. They deliver vital tools that enhance our ability to respond effectively in emergencies, manage resources efficiently, and keep our communities safe. This work impacts nearly every facet of our operations, including 911 dispatching and response, maintaining records, address points, road center lines, jurisdictional boundaries, ensures that our public safety telecommunicators can quickly locate callers and route first responders without today. Some of you have heard of Next Gen 911. We're routing calls using that technology today. In addition, their work provides us incident mapping and analysis, providing situational awareness during critical incidents through real-time mapping and spatial analysis, resource allocation, supporting fire, EMS, and local law enforcement with data-driven planning for response coverage and resource placement. You know, we often see this used in our rep response and our rep drills, so a huge and then certainly interagency coordination, supplying this GIS data to local, regional, and state partners to improve interoperability and emergency planning. The precision, timeliness, and innovation of our GIS team directly improves the quality and effectiveness of our public safety services. Their behind-the-scenes contributions often go unseen, yet they are essential to the safety and well-being of Goodhue County residents, businesses, and visitors. So on behalf of the Sheriff's Office and Emergency Services countywide, I want to extend our appreciation to the GIS team, their dedication and commitment to excellence. Their work exemplifies the collaborative spirit that makes Goodhue County a safer place to live, work, and visit. And so with that, just join me in a round of applause for this team. Jeff, if you have something to say, by all means. Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
Chad, could you introduce them for us?
Sure.
Thank you.
Start with Jeff. Come on up, Jeff Efblad. We have Jeff, we have Alan, Brian, and Leanne. All of them are providing this data to us, and I know it's easy to think, oh, it's just another data set, but kind of like I stand up in front of many crowds and preach about how important our dispatchers are, and I call them the first responders. They use the same type of tools. Our folks in the field that are responding to specific locations, and not only that, are setting up command posts, are using mapping skills, using the things that GIS puts together. It's often, as I mentioned, one of those unseen tools that is used more frequently than the public sees, or even the responders in the field know. GIS mapping is going to continue to change, just like all of our technology is continuing to change on a daily basis. So I thought it was important to highlight their work. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I guess we're doing a picture. How do you want it, Nick? Okay. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I would just like to thank the Sheriff's Department for the nice acknowledgement and the GIS team for their dedication and hard work. And department's very proud to make Goodhue County a safe place. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think as I look at what GIS has done for Goodhue County, the one thing that kind of sticks out is we built it, I think we started building it for internal use. And I don't think there's a department in the county that doesn't rely on GIS for stuff. And then it became the public use of it, and the public, it uses it all the time. And I constantly am hearing about the GIS and our mapping system and how it's used out in the county for a numerous amount of people. And it saves everybody time, but the work that we do internally is really critical, and what they're doing for dispatch and what, all of that is just critical to all of our departments working really well. And it probably makes our departments work better together because of it. So kudos to the whole team. I don't know how many years there is between you, but there's more than 5, I know that. Collectively, you have a lot, and you bring a lot to this county, so thank you very much.
And I want to kind of echo what Brad said. I kind of believe that the people I talk to in the county, more than anything else on the county website, use the GIS. And I don't know if I've ever heard a complaint about it. Most people are just really pleased and glad to have it available. And so I think it's a service to the constituents, which I very much appreciate.
The only downfall is it's so damn good that the people, when we do a road project, they figure out every little road to take around the road project instead of following the detours. So, but thank you very much, and thanks, Chad, for bringing that forward. All right, next, Finance and Taxpayer Services. We're going to look at our proposed fee schedule for 2026, and after we get it presented, we'll have a public hearing on it, and then go from there. Welcome, Teresa.
Good morning, Commissioners. So before you here, we have the proposed 2026 fee schedule. The management team encourages a yearly review and approval of the fees to reduce the number of public hearings throughout the year for fee approvals. The proposed changes are in red on the attached PDF. And just to note, there are a number of new fees. The biggest ones this year are the wind and solar system fees.
There questions on any of the schedule?
Did we not have court services before? That's all in red.
No, there were none.
Those fees were not on the fee schedule itself. Those fees, my understanding is have always been there, but they were not actually on the fee schedule in the past.
I just have a general question. With the change in the fees, was it trying to reflect the cost? So for example, with the research, I think it was $40 an hour, or was there some other method by which the fees were changed? Kind of what was the philosophy in the changes?
So the philosophy was, first of all, there are many of these that are controlled by statute.
I understand
and
that,
we
yep.
cannot change.
Yep.
The ones that are changed, we try to reflect based on what it costs the county
Yes,
to administer these programs.
thank you. That makes sense to me.
Anybody else? Not, is there a motion to open a public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second, we open the public hearing. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. We are in an open public hearing. If anyone wants to speak to the 2026 proposed fee schedule. Second time, does anyone want to speak to the proposed fee schedule? Third and final time, does anyone want to speak to the proposed fee schedule?
Move we close public hearing.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, we close public hearing. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. A couple things that I was glad to see put in there around land use that I don't think was in there before. If you get a after-the-fact permit, that we're gonna double the fee, and I think that's appropriate for not following our schedule of that. The only one I really, and I probably should have said this before, was the mail ballot fee. Is that set by state?
That's not set by state. That's also something that we've historically charged, but it was not on the fee schedule itself, so we added that on there for clarity. And it's only for one jurisdiction in the county.
Yeah. I think if we had a jurisdiction that had a higher number of voters in it, that might not be suffice.
I'd agree with that. We'd have to address it probably at that time, but there is it does take a while. It's not, if somebody wants to go on to that, it's not an immediate. So we wanted to add it to the fee schedule just to make it clear in case there is any turnover anywhere that we are charging this fee. And for other jurisdictions, if they did want to join in and do mail balloting, then they would be able to. We'd be able to refer to. It's not a free service.
And I wonder if we did a little research so we're prepared, that if you can set different tiers based on the number of voters. Because to do it for Belchester is what, 100 voters at the most, 80-some, 90-some, maybe 120, I don't know, versus somebody that has 1,000 or 1,500 or 2,000 voters. Those are vastly different costs. So maybe do a little research and see if there's a way we could set tiers in there. I wouldn't want to put it so high that a Belchester or a Denison couldn't do it, yet I don't want $600 for something that really costs $3,000. So just maybe for future reference, we could look at that.
Yep, we'll look into it.
Right. Any other questions on the fee schedule? Not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the fee schedule.
Second?
Second.
Been moved and second, we approve the fee schedule as proposed. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. All right, Human Resources, Continue Retention Committee proposals.
What I bring before you today is a resolution to look at supporting the 2024 resolutions from the retention committee in regards to a training budget for supervisors. Is it not on? My bad. What's that? I did. To support a $15,000 training budget for supervisors and managers, as well as support allocation of an $80 credit for employees for county logo wear. This came to me as the chair and vice chair had met and wanted to discuss this with the board, so I just bring that before you.
Questions? Go ahead.
Can you tell me how well received it was, the $80 credit per employee for county logo wear?
Very well received. I think Stacy could probably tell you best, but we took great joy in playing Santa Claus and delivering the logo wear to the employees. I think it's something that the board might want to participate in as well, but it was very well received.
Excellent, thank you.
I believe separate from this fund, we set aside some money to support the 2 meals that are hosted each year?
That is correct.
Okay, and I think...
That's, the cost for that is listed at the bottom of this.
Okay.
But that is also an additional item, but that is already ongoing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Board's wishes?
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
On the money for supervisor training, can you tell me a little bit about what was done last year? And if we don't, I mean, since this hasn't been approved yet, you may or may not know what you're going to do for next year, but can you tell me how it was spent last year for supervisor training?
Sure. We did a bunch of different trainings. We kind of looked at it doing quarterly, but we ended up doing more than that. First quarter, we did several trainings on the hiring process internally at Goodhue County and how we do that with the managers, just kind of a recap of the direction we want them going in their hiring process. We did the annual safety training. We just count that in. We did a DISC communications assessment. That was a budget item that cost, I think, about $7,000 or $8,000. It's a communications assessment, kind of like a Myers-Briggs, where you look at the personalities of yourself as well as the people you supervise and how you can better communicate and receive communication from them. We've also did Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 training for employees that wanted that training. We recently did Sand Creek, had Sand Creek come in. There was a cost of that. It was a conflict and moving beyond conflict training. There were 3 sessions for that we recorded and have also been able to send out. And then coming up tomorrow and next week, we are doing internal training on leaves of absence for FMLA and the new PMFL so that we can teach our managers on how we're going to deal with that in the coming year. Beyond that, we haven't looked at next year's schedule on that, but the survey that's going out on the Sand Creek is asking supervisors and managers what else they would like to hear and see in the future. So we are seeking input on that.
Thank you very much.
And do you also get input on how helpful people thought it, given training was?
That's part of the survey as well.
Okay. And so far, what have the responses been?
We got good response on the DISC assessment. We haven't gotten it back on the Sand Creek one yet.
I see.
But I think people felt really good about the DISC Creek one and want to maybe take the next step on that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, we need to take action if we want to take action.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
We move and second, we approve continue the retention committee proposals as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Personnel Committee.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Susan and I met yesterday with the sheriff and the attorney and the committee. I'll let Jessica lead us through that.
Good morning, Commissioners. As Commissioner Anderson stated, the Personnel Committee met yesterday to review and consider proposals for 2026 salary for the sheriff and for the county attorney. They considered those requests commensurate with the applicable statutes about setting the salary and reviewed performance, qualifications, and so on in doing that. And I think you made a recommendation about where to set the salary for those two positions next year and an increase of $6,500 annually for each of those elected positions. Is that correct?
Questions?
I'll just make one comment. I know that Brad wanted to choose a number and not a percent, but I just was curious about the percent, and so that came out to about 3.5%. And it would have been slightly different for the sheriff and for the county attorney, and I think I used the county attorney's number because it was in front of me.
Questions?
I have a question. We received a note from DDA on where we're at in our percentages in our area counties. Was that taken into consideration on the talks yesterday? I mean, if we're setting a goal of 115%, and we have positions that are extremely over that, was that considered?
Well, first, I'm just going to caution. They're not in the pay schedule, and we're not supposed to consider them as part of the pay schedule because they're elected officials. So it's a separate kind of consideration. So I think that's a caution that we don't draw it back to that. When we talk about, I think we did talk a little bit about surrounding counties and some of the comparables. And we also have to remember that we have a nuclear plant. We have a significant gaming that's going on in the county with the Prairie Island Reservation and their casino. And those are very different than any of those other counties, and we have a hydroelectric dam. So there are differences. I'm not going to say that those are monumental and change things, but it's a different level that we have to carry in those positions than if you just did sheriff work. So I think there is a difference. So that's probably justifying a little bit of the differentiation in ours versus some of the others.
Well, and my thinking was a little bit different than Brad's because I kind of felt like, well, we are where we are, okay, and we got there for reasons that we all went through before, and so I wasn't so much questioning those numbers as putting my thought into, well, what's reasonable to where do we go from here? And I agree there's unique things about Goodhue County, but I think every county makes an argument for their unique things. And so it's not that I don't think Goodhue County is unique, but I'm sure that if we talked to any other county, they'd give us a list of 10 things that were unique about them. So that didn't sway me as much, I guess.
Go ahead.
But you said as a number, you took that, and I don't know if that's comparable, so it was over 3%?
3.5. It was 3.5. Oh, well, I mean, for Steve's, it was 3.5. For Marty's, it'd be a little less than that because his number is slightly higher.
How did you drive at the dollar amount then?
I asked Brad that. So I'll let him explain that.
Well, we listened to both Steve and Marty and their discussions about what their department's going through, what it's been through in the last year, and where they're going in the future, and I applied a number. That's how we got there. Could it have been $2,000? Yeah, it could have. This is what our recommendation, we kind of agreed to bring that forward to the board. It's the board's decision to set it, so.
Yeah, and certainly there are other ideas that would be perfectly reasonable. And so if you guys have some other thoughts or ideas, please let us know what they are.
I guess I'm looking at our number for next year in the budget. If we are looking at a 17%, when are we going to start saying, okay, we have to do something? Small, start or a small, amount, but, and I understand, like you say, Brad, they're not on the pay scale, but we do have to have some sort of guidance, and I think DDA is probably that best guidance for what's going on in our area. So another thing that's going to have to come up is commissioner salaries. I mean, is that something that, we're so far under, which I have no problem with, but, and then on the next side, we have some that are way over where we kind of projected. So where are we as a board? Where do we want to sit with our consistency and, make decisions from there?
And my thought, we have to have some rationales, if we're going to try to stick to 3% or across, I don't know how we came up with a number if it's over 3. We're elected officials. We know what it's going to pay if we get in there for the money. They're elected officials. I don't know what their requirement on a daily, they're there every day. Are they there? Their job, I don't picking a number out of it, or I would say hold them to at least 3% or less. Again, they're elected officials. They know what the job entails, what they want to do, what they want to put into it. A little civic duty, we can all, it's not a bad paying job, so they know what they're getting into. I wouldn't approve that dollar amount if we held it to 3% or something more structured, if we're going to hold that to other department heads and other staff that we're going to stick to.
Though they're not on the grid, having some consistency. Pulling out some things. Is that fair enough to say? Brad identified how he came up with and not necessarily a swag number, but I don't know. Yes, some consistency, so they know and then we know what there is. So.
Comments?
My opinion, so.
So I did this with Steve's salary because it's on the page that comes up first, and 3% on his would be $5,722. And I think, Steve, that even though that's not quite how we're supposed to do it, but I think your request was actually to get the same cost of living adjustment as other employees, I believe.
It was, yes.
Yeah.
So that was my request, was just to be given the same wage adjustment that the other employees in the county would be given. I didn't know what that number was at the time, so I didn't propose a number.
Right.
Whatever the board approves. Obviously, I'm happy with whatever salary the board sets today. But in my thinking, I just wanted to be treated similarly to the other employees in the county.
Yes.
And with regard to the DDA report, if the board members recall, I did ask Tesha about that wage philosophy, and I think her answer with regard to my question was that we were within the county's pay philosophy with our salaries. So I think that was answered, Commissioner, yesterday by Tesha.
Marty, was your ask the same as Steve's? Was you just wanted 3%? I guess I shouldn't come forward and say the dollar amounts or to criticize anybody about what the job is for. Because if you asked for 3, yes, I think that's legit. So
Yes, for the
if the
same.
number,
He asked
yes, for the same as everybody else is getting, and I don't want to say that you guys are asking for more, and getting less. So.
Mine was around 6.3. For a variety of reasons, we discussed one at length, which was a point that the elected officials don't get to cash in vacation time or anything for HSA savings account that other department heads do and will continue to do. Understanding that that was a request from last year that I received, and the thought was that amount of money would just continue on with my salary and other department heads can still get that money. I don't know if I'm totally on board with that philosophy, but I understand it. But one thing I'm not close enough yet. I was fine with Commissioner Anderson's proposal, but I actually, when we're done here, I have another proposal that I requested yesterday, so I hope we're going to be able to talk about that. If 3% is what it is, then that's what it is.
Just a curiosity on your vacation, but you guys aren't allotted any specific vacation time at all.
No.
It's like being a farmer or being self-employed or a truck owner operator of a trucker. If you ain't working, I mean, as a truck driver, you don't get paid unless you're working, and you're getting paid all through long. So if you want to take a month's of vacation,
right,
or 2 weekends off, it's entirely up to you but that's, as an elected official, that's your direction that your department is functioning, and if you want to be there tomorrow, you can be. If you don't need to be,
correct,
you don't have to be, and you knew that going in about so you don't bank any, as a sheriff, you don't bank any insurance, paid sick time or nothing, so.
no.
But you also don't have a limit on it.
Of how many hours you have to work, so.
Yeah.
Like being self-employed.
I think the number had to do with department heads being able to bank, I think 80 hours a year of unused vacation time into their retirement savings. And last year, and Brad's memory for things is better than mine, but maybe it will get better as I've done this longer, that both the sheriff and the county attorney's wage was adjusted to reflect that. So they got in that number was right around $7,000. And so Brad's point was we already put that money in your salary, and we can't make it be $14,000 this year and $21,000 the next and $28,000, but that number would go up by the same percent as everybody else's. So that was kind of where the big discrepancy was. And at least I thought Brad's logic was correct. And I don't want to put Lucas too much on the spot, but we confirmed whether he thought that was correct, and my understanding was that he did think that was correct, that the numbers were correct, that we were thinking about the math correctly. Is that fair enough?
Yes.
Well, another part was not necessarily a vacation payout, but with other department heads getting the general wage adjustment along with their step increase puts most of them between 4 to 7%. And that's almost on a yearly basis until they reach step 12. So we're obviously not on a step anymore, so we just wanted to be consistent with continuing to get that and compete with the rest of the department heads.
And that was a little bit of why I went from 3% a little bit higher, was because it is different. Although I also said you're not statutorily department heads. That's a county function that we've asked you to be department heads, and you've agreed, and we're absolutely happy that you are, and that you're, the way we do budget, you're involved, it's very, we work across departments really well, whether we're elected officials or whether we're appointed people, and we appreciate that, and that really makes our county work better. So I don't want to upset that part. I certainly appreciate the work you all do on that stuff, and those are some of the reasons why I suggested it be a little more than 3%, because there are no steps involved.
But I think it's true that that's part of being an elected official.
It is. I'm not going to disagree with that.
Not just at the county level, but at the state level, at the federal level.
Correct. Yep.
And I don't know that this is true, but I sort of believe the senator who's a first-year senator and the senator who's been there 30 years, their salary is the same.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
What's your wishes?
Well, if I understand this correctly, you're suggesting the 3% increase for both the sheriff and the county attorney, is that correct?
Yep, they're listed separate. We should probably do them independently of each other.
Oh. All right. Well, for the county attorney's request, can I take it out of?
You can
Do
do
whatever.
them in the order you want to do them, I guess.
Okay. For the county attorney's request, I make a motion that stays with the salary that he had and a 3% increase, correct?
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sheriffs.
I will echo Linda's motion for the sheriff's, a 3% general wage adjustment for sheriff's salary.
Here a second.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And you wanted to address one other issue?
Yes.
Okay.
So in the letter that the county board sent me and Steve requesting salaries, they also asked to provide information for any positions in your office for which you're requesting a salary increase. I haven't submitted anything like this in my 7 years as a sheriff, but I feel very strongly about the following recommendation. I'm writing to formally request a pay increase for Chief Deputy John Hunnicky, who currently serves as at grade 119, step 9. This recommendation is made in recognition of his exceptional performance, steadfast leadership, and significant responsibilities he continues to manage within the sheriff's office. Chief Hunnicky has consistently demonstrated excellence across every measurable category of performance, as outlined in his last supervisory evaluation. His leadership, initiative, and critical decision-making have been instrumental in maintaining efficient and professional operations within our office. John is my right-hand man, someone who brings not only problems, but also well-thought-out solutions at the same time, ensuring our office functions at the highest level of efficiency and integrity. In addition to his regular duties, Chief Hunnicky has taken on significant oversight responsibilities related to the Xcel Energy nuclear plant, and we are preparing for a HAB drill this year. It takes a significant amount of time, along with our emergency management. Given John's 25 years of outstanding service to Goodhue County, his proven leadership record, and the critical scope of his work, including his ongoing involvement with Xcel Energy, I strongly recommend that he receive a step increase from grade 119, step 9 to grade 119, step 12. This isn't a grade increase. We tried to appeal that last year with DDA, and I truly believe, and I still contend, that John's position should be a grade 120, but that's not the case, and that's not what I'm asking for. I'm just asking for a 3-step raise to get him to step 12. Thank you for the consideration.
Okay. Well, obviously, it wasn't on the agenda, so we're not going to act on it today, just so you know that. But I think we need to go back and look at personnel policy and follow the procedures in personnel policy. Not that I know John's a very, very, very talented person that works very, very hard, and I totally understand that. But we also have to kind of follow a policy. So I think we need to go back to policy, look at what the avenues are, and Susan and I, as Personnel Committee, will have to take a look at that and make some recommendations if there's an avenue for us to make a recommendation. And I think that's how we have to handle it, because it's going to be far-reaching across the county if we do one-offs. And I think we just need to make sure we can follow some policy to do it. So it's not, we just need to take it and look at it that way.
The thing that came up that I wasn't aware of is, I was surprised it came up yesterday, and then Marty said it was basically written into the information that he got, that was the procedure to make the appeal. And I think Jessica contacted DDA and got some information from them. And what I thought is that normally I don't think we would do an appeal out of sequence. We would do it as part of the process of when appeals are done. But given that it was written into the information that he was given, it seemed like we'd still want to go through the same procedure, but perhaps there was reason to say, okay, if that's the information he got, we need to be willing to look at it out of the usual timing. But I agree with Brad. We really want to have a procedure we stick with,
right,
because otherwise at every board meeting we'll be having legitimate reasons. I don't mean that they're not legitimate, but reasons that these are things that are coming up, and I think we want our policy to handle most of these issues. So I would be in favor of it being reviewed out of sequence because of what was written into the information that Marty got, but to still follow the same procedure we do for looking at this.
When I think about what our policy states as far as job reclassifications, it talks about ongoing maintenance and that being the initial trigger, but then out of sequence, we look at if there's been a substantial change to someone's job duties. And, in Marty's report here, he's articulated some additional responsibilities when it comes to the drill and those associated responsibilities. And so I think, as Commissioner Boettcher has stated, it's been flagged in this report and it's been articulated that there may be some change in job duties, and generally that is a trigger for us to review and potentially reconsider. And so certainly we can start that process and bring it back in the future.
And would John need to, I don't know how you request an appeal, but would he need to do that?
So there is an appeal form that a person would fill out, and we'll work with DDA on which documentation that they would like. In general, when jobs are reviewed, there's kind of a short form that says there's not much that's changed with my job description, and then there's a long form that really unpacks all of the various duties and responsibilities and authority of the position. And then once the job has been graded, then there's an appeal form that a person would articulate. Here's perhaps what was missing in the job description or that they felt wasn't considered appropriately. And so, like I said, there's 3 different forms that could be completed. We'll work with DDA on which one that they would like filled out. My initial inclination would be that long form is probably what we would look at having completed to make sure that we have a full idea of the scope of the position and what's changed so that it can be given full and due consideration.
Thank you.
Linda.
Sheriff, I also have heard incredible comments about John and his work ethic. When you appealed the grade last year, was all of this put into it at that time?
I don't. I'd have to look back in what we put into it, Linda.
I don't know.
Again, I'm not asking for a grade increase right now. I'm just asking for a pay raise in that grade he's in to recognize the extraordinary work that he does. That's it. And that's what you asked me to do. That's what I did. And now apparently that's not what you wanted me to do. So I'm a little confused. Don't put it in there next year if you don't want us to ask.
Thank you.
I think that's one of the other things that came up in our discussions yesterday is some of the question around budget and that. And I think in part of our discussion, and again this morning I had a discussion with Jessica about going through and maybe revising how we ask or what we ask for questions. And because Sheriff and the county attorney are so involved in our budgeting process, the question really isn't about what their budget is as much as it is about what do you foresee coming up? Is there something that we're missing in the budget that you want to point out or something like that? So I think, that's where bringing up Deputy Haneke is legit in that. So I agree with that. I think we have to use some sort of process to do it, even if it's just moving someone farther down the ladder. We have to have a process, or we'll be doing it at every meeting. And I think that's where we're at. So definitely not a no. We need to do more work. That's where we're at. Anything else on that? Anything from any other commissioners? Thank you. Veteran Ride Program transfer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
In previous discussions, we had, do I have control of this? I don't, okay. In previous discussions, we had talked about transferring the county's ride program to the DAV and some of the consequences of that, and what that ride program would look like for veterans with the DAV and what that ride program looks like from transferring from the county to the DAV. So one of the things I'm asking for today is a vote on if we move forward with transferring that over, as well as establishing a date where we stop taking rides and a date where we're not going to take any rides after that. The reason I say that for the two different dates is that I've already got rides that have been requested out to January. And if we stop asking for rides, let's say January 1st, I will probably have rides going into March that have been requested from us. So I wanted to have an end date on when we stop taking rides beyond that, and then where the ride program just stops. So, but it also sounds like there might be some appetite for further discussions and maybe some nuance in how this goes. So I'm here to answer questions, present options, and go from there.
So if I understand what you're saying is you wouldn't want to end it on December 31st because you already got rides for January.
Yeah. So
you'd probably want to end it the end of January? Or later?
Right now, I've got the date as we won't take any more rides after December 1st, and then we won't be providing rides any further out than January 1st. So, but essentially that 30th, or that 30-day period. Any rides that have been requested into January, I would give them a call and let them know, like, hey, give the DAV a call and let's schedule that ride and get that going. So, but we could go with December 31st and then no later than, say, March 1st for providing rides. Absolutely. So.
Are you still going to have the veterans ask you to call DAV for them?
Probably. And I'll be walking them through. We actually printed out a list. In the last year, we provided 149 veterans rides. Before Liz left, she got that list together for us. We have phone numbers. We're going to give every single one of those veterans a call and walk them through the process on how to request a ride from the DAV, so that they understand how that process works, so that they're each going to get a direct handoff. So I'm not just going to say we're going to stop it and not give any guidance to these veterans. I'm going to make sure they understand what the process is going to look like.
And I'm believing that you felt what you proposed was reasonable, not adding new rides after December 1st and not providing rides after January 1st.
I think that is, yeah. It's actually pretty rare that we get a ride that's far out as mid-January or from this time frame. Yeah, it's pretty rare. I think we only have 1 or 2 rides in January right now.
You can manage that, I think you're saying. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There is going to be some feedback from the veterans.
Of course.
On this. It's going to be pretty strong feedback. Of Granted, in the last year, it's only been 149 veterans that we've provided rides for, but there's the other veterans are going to have feelings on the matter. So I want to let you know that now.
And when you say 149, that's 149 unique individuals, not?
Yep, the last year, I don't have my numbers directly in front of me. I believe we provided something along the lines of like 600 to 700 rides for those 149 veterans. Yep.
Go ahead.
I can't remember if you answered this once before or not, but there are several other counties in Minnesota that use the DAV ride.
Many other counties. I don't have the numbers directly in front of me. We're actually one of the last counties to be providing rides directly to our veterans.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you think, as time goes on, you think it's going to get better? I mean, once we come into the program too, then there's going to be hopefully more volunteers driving for DAV, and I mean, they can better coordinate when all the counties are doing it?
Honestly, right now, any veteran in Goodhue County, pretty much anywhere in the state, can request a ride from the DAV right now. So it's they're covering an area, and then if a county is covering their area more specifically, they're essentially overlapping. Right now, a veteran from Goodhue County could absolutely request a ride from the DAV, and they would see if they could provide it. You know.
It makes sense to me that there will be strong feelings, and no one likes to see a service that they are familiar with and has been good for them changed. So I understand that. But I also think from the information you provided, there's every reason to believe that the DAV services are good services, and that it's a change, and again, it's a change they're not asking for, but I believe there's every reason to believe veterans will continue to be able to get to their appointments, and that's the real thing we're trying to make sure happens.
Absolutely. They'll have an opportunity to sit in the van and socialize with the other veterans in the van.
Sure.
And the driver as well.
And some will like it better, some won't like it as well, and once they're used to it, my guess will be that a little bit like with some of the road things, that the amount of upset will calm down.
I imagine that would be the case, yep.
I would think so.
Adjust, yeah.
And if it isn't, maybe we have to reconsider.
So we're asked to put those dates in place?
And confirm the transfer from the county to the DAV, yep.
I'll make a motion that we confirm the transfer from the county to the DAV and use the dates suggested by the Veteran Service Officer at the end date of December 1st for accepting new rides and providing no rides after January 1st.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
I have one more comment.
Okay.
Sorry. Once again, out in the community, I heard incredible comments about the VAS office and how you are attending to the veterans' services, and I thank you very much. I think that's probably the fourth or fifth comment just out in the community that I haven't asked for. They've just made that comment. So thank you very, very much, both of you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Couple of for your information, and I'm not quite familiar. Are you where this portion of the Goodhue Pioneer Trail is? Is it towards Zembrodand, or is it? Does anybody know? They didn't give us. I mean, they got it here, but they didn't. It didn't show what section. It didn't give a parcel number. Not that we have anything to say about it, but it would be nice to know where it is. You familiar with that, Jess, at all?
I am not.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We should have the GI. Go ahead.
I'm not either.
Yeah. I tried to look it up on a map, but I couldn't figure out where it is, but by the names, we could probably find that out. Our GIS people would have probably been able to point us right to the right spot right now, but they're not here anymore. All right, then you have project status report. New or old business? Go ahead.
I just wanted to compliment the sheriff's office. Once again, we had all gotten an email from or a copy of an email from a resident who spent time with us in the county jail. And he was very complimentary about how he was treated, what he learned. And it's not very often that you get compliments from somebody who is getting out of jail or out of prison. So I am very grateful to them.
Any other new or old business? Committee reports?
Got one?
Go ahead.
The PAC, we met last night, and the Board of Adjustment, BOA, was right before us, and there's discussion was started, and we asked Megan about it. Is this a okay plan to put those on the same night schedule for the whole year? You know, just for, it might help with staff, but there's some instances where, like last night, there was 200 letters that went out for a variance. So that can happen, but I think in general, we can occasional, I don't know how many times it happens, but someone comes to the Board of Adjustment and comes to the PAC. And then we also have a door monitor also that's hired that night. So if we could, I guess I would just like to review that. I don't know if anybody has a problem with not having them on the same night.
I don't think we set the dates for those, do we? Doesn't land use set the dates for those? I mean, they've been published what dates they are, but I think as a committee you can, or as a group, you can decide.
Mr. Chair, I believe that the staff kind of sets the dates usually with the chairperson. Calendar 1 year in advance that just says these are, and it's mostly to give people an application deadline so that they know, hey, there's a meeting coming up in March. You have to have your application submitted by this date in April, for example. Or never mind, April meeting for March, application deadline. So I think what Commissioner Gresseth was saying is that last night, the feedback I heard, and this wasn't brought up by staff, but the feedback I heard was that the board felt like there could be some efficiency, both the Board of Adjustment and Planning Commission felt there could be some efficiencies of having the meeting on the same night. And so it's just an update for you all.
And in the past, it maybe had something to do with, I don't know what time you start the Board of Adjustment, 4:30, 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock is Board of Adjustment.
Yeah, and whether people that were on the committee could get here by that time without, having to leave work, so they always schedule it. It used to be, I think when I was on it, it was 7 o'clock or something, and it was based on who could get there when. If you can do it, I don't see any problem with scheduling them on the same night. The only question I'll have is, that means your application deadlines are going to all fall at the same time, which means the workload and the workflow in the office may be a little bit backed up.
Yeah, and we did talk about that a little bit last night with, last night there were 5 total public hearings, and they all happened on the same night. So all the notices that go out in the mail, all the notices that go to the newspaper, all of those moving parts happen consecutively. But like it just got brought up last night. I haven't really had a chance to talk to my staff about it too much, but it seemed like the initial indication last night was, yeah, I mean, this could be a way we could be more efficient with our time.
And I think it's good for Planning Commission members and Board of Adjustment members to actually, there's probably some crossover talk that happens.
Because we do have one member on both.
Yeah. I think it's good that happens also.
Yep. And the frequency that it's going to be a 5 meeting in one night, does that happen once a year? I mean, the public hearings?
It's the exception, not the norm, to have that many public hearings.
And then 1 month there maybe not be one or the other either. So it's kind of.
I think the most, when I was on Board of Adjustments, we had 26 one night.
Public hearings?
26 appeals and public hearings, yeah. That was back in the day when there was something, I don't remember exactly what the issue was, but it was like 26 one. Yeah. That was a long meeting, but I hope you don't have any of those. No, I don't, does anybody else have a problem if they can schedule it and do it in one night? Staff-wise, that's better. It's one less night away from family, so I'm all for it, if it works. Any other committee reports? Go ahead.
So I'm on the state task force for incarcerated women and girls. And one of the things that I brought up was post-traumatic stress. Very often, women who are incarcerated, if they are veterans, show or exhibit post-traumatic stress symptoms. And a lot of this came from the book that Colonel Quist had handed out to all of us last month. So at any rate, I did talk to Justin and Marissa about considering putting together a proposal for a presentation at the conference that we're going to be planning. It's not until April of 27, so there's a year and a half, a lot of time, but one on post-traumatic stress and women and girls incarcerated. And they seemed receptive to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. This is a subject that's near and dear to both our hearts. Marissa's actually has some experience working with female veterans who have been incarcerated in Scott County, and she is looking, and we are looking to expand some of that work into working with our folks here in Goodhue County. So yeah, we'd love to do a presentation on that, and then also expand a little bit of that work into the county. So yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Not, claims?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we pay the bills. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn? And by the clock, it says 5 after 9. We're doing really good today. It's really 5 after 10. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Thank you.